Hello, everybody, and welcome to another 830 RPG video. In this one, we're going to be continuing our adventure of the rescue, which is not really a rescue anymore per se, because our character's brother, Thespin, has been dead for some time. So, our player character, is right here. His name is Getry, and we are running off of this little sheet, and we're using the Cairn RPG system. So, last time we left off, I'm going to walk over here so you might see my shadow from time to time. But we're getting a little closer to this other half of the map that I've been eager to get to for some time. And we're continuing the tradition, we're continuing the concept of rolling for the character now, switching responsibilities from controlling the PC to controlling the world around the character, and rolling to using the Oracle to control the outcomes of the actual PC. So we still kind of do drive destiny by asking the questions of the PC, but ultimately the roles decide the outcome of the character's actions. So we left off right here, the entrance of a little bout we had with that Getry had with the remaining goblin in this little office room, this little office area here, where the room was torn apart due to a little mutiny going on. And we rolled to see that Getry is at this doorway now. We're going to re-roll the, I believe, where we left off. We noticed Getry is now at this little entryway. This what appears to him as a standard wall slab, but it's more of because the spear that the recently deceased goblin threw at Getry and grazed him. Well, it did kind of, it did, I think it did damage him a bit. It did suffer some loss in the strength department because of the Cairn rules, but the spear is now lodged inside this, which clearly is a fake door. So we're going to roll to see if Getry takes interest of this. Does and also we have this dead goblin right in front of him. But does Getry take interest in the lodged spear? And I'm going to say a +6 on this one for a certainty that he does. So I'm going to roll for it. And he certainly does. 12 plus a 6, 18. He is highly interested in this to see why this spear looks like it is lodged inside at least half, partially into what appears to be a solid wall, but the the hole in the wall shows a resemblance of a wooden door. So it's obviously a fake. It's a fake wall. So I'm going to assume because of the interest, Getry is going to walk a little closer to inspect the spear. So um, couple of options here. We can roll for will check to see if he can investigate or attempt to open this fake door, or I'm sorry, this fake wall, this passage. Because at this point, we can also roll to see if he can uh, take the spear out to see to look through the hole. So let's say does Getry pull the spear out of the wall. So I would say +4 on this one. Not entirely certainty, but +4. Yeah, 17. So he does indeed. He takes the spear out, throws it aside. So let's get our handy dandy eraser. There we go. So the spear is just kind of tossed aside. It's out of the frame now, or it's out of our interest. And he's going to now. Does Getry look through the hole? That's a certainty. I say +6. Roll for that. And oh my gosh, it's a critical 20. So I'm noticing the more I roll on the table, the more it shakes the platform. Yeah, it does kind of shake it. So I'm gonna probably have to roll it on the side where I have my dice tray for you guys. So I've been pondering about putting a second camera angle that shows the rolls. Might do that next one. But anyway, solid 20. We don't even have to consider the modifier. Indeed looks through the hole. And now the size of this, I'd say the spear, the size of the hole the spear created, along with the mark of the arrow in front of it, is at least probably 3 inches in diameter. So I'm going to assume he can see pretty well through there. We don't even have to roll for that. So he peeks through the hole, and what he sees is this statue in front of. All he can see is probably this statue of some kind of swordsman, some kind of person that's in a guard stance, and he can also see the chest, but not the gold below. So really, it's at eyes. The spear was at neck height, and only you can only see really the top half of the statue and then the chest poking out from behind. So, does Getry find a way to open the door? Let's roll. Of course, I'm gonna roll a +6 modifier on this one. That's a certain. He's gonna roll. We're gonna roll on this one. 13. That's 19. So he does indeed find a way to open the door. Now, because of that, we rolled for his action in choosing to open the door. They're trying to find out open this hidden door. Well, now we have to roll a will check to see if he can find a way to open the door. That's just sticking to the rules of Cairn. So we have to roll a 9 or a less with no modifiers. So I'm going to roll that now. Oh, I rolled a critical 1. So in the Cairn terms, that is a way to that is a critical success. So he finds a about at knee height. He finds. Hey, let's get a little closer. There we go. He finds a button on the wall and he presses it. He just notices it's kind of in the texture of the wall. He presses it and it opens the door. On the side, it opens the door. But when he opens the door, opens the fake door. I'm sorry, the hidden door. This guard right here, this statue, begins to shake, and suddenly it approaches Getry about 1 tile, so 5 feet. It moves closer to Getry, and it begins to move. So it's an enchanted trap that takes the shape of a guard and gets ready in a protective stance. So now Getry can clearly see the pile of gold right in front of him, and he acknowledges that this is pretty much a trap. But it's more of a trap if you approach it, it gets worse for you if you don't fend well. So it's kind of like either go through it or find another way around. So Getry does see the pile of gold here, the chest, the enchanted statue, and probably can see a little further past in the distance. But we're gonna keep it to where it's right. We're dealing with what's right in front of Getry. Now, we have to roll to see will Getry confront this huge guard statue. Let's say a couple of issues here. We've already dealt with the loss of his brother, but now we're kind of exploring a bit. Or Getry is just I don't want to say he's in his right mind, but just witnessed his brother's death. He took care of all the goblins in the vicinity, and he's assuming all the goblins are rid of. There's also the old guy still in the jail cell. That's always an option, but um, at this point, Getry is just trying to find a way out, and he could go the path, but that spear just piqued his interest. I'm going to say a +2 on this one. Does Getry attack the guard? Let's roll for this. Okay, he doesn't. I rolled a +2. I rolled a 2. Even with the +2, that's a 4. So he decides to step away because perhaps I'd say he doesn't approach the guard. We can't just say he steps away. We have to roll for that. Now, Getry hesitates, greatly hesitates. He does not approach the guard, and because of this, the guard goes back into his prior position, standing directly in front of the pile of gold. and then goes back to a honorable pose, holding the sword on the ground. Think like who was the character from MCU, the Thor movies that Idris Elba played? I completely forgot his name, but he holds the sword down into the ground. I know it's Idris Elba. Um, and he can kind of see all. He's like the keeper of the that transportation system they use. I feel so embarrassed. I'm a Marvel fan. I completely forgot his name. If I recall later, I'll mention it. But he's holding the sword down into the ground, and he's back into a full statue, no movement. And Getry sees this. Does Getry enter the hall? Does Getry enter this area again to trigger the guard? Let's say -2, because I think he's hesitant on this one. -2. I rolled a. Yeah, this is a tough one. Well, 15 -2 is a 13, so that is technically a yes. He does, but very slowly. He takes one step inside. So right now we're between the lines, and the guard reanimates, gets into position, and only goes a half step forward. So it's like a mirror. Everything that Getry does, the guard does. So I have an idea for this. Does Getry put his weapon away? Let's keep this at a 0. I'm going to roll for it. A 5. He does not put his weapon away. He keeps his weapon drawn. Hmm. The guard remains still. Does Getry approach, a couple feet closer? Let's say a 2 on this one, possible. A 9, so that's 11. He does, but that's a middle. That's a 11, so that's a very high maybe. He does slowly go forward, and the guard also slowly goes forward. And I think that Getry sees this as a mirror. So everything that Getry does, the guard does. So now I want to re-ask that question. Does Getry, now he's more familiar with this mechanism, this magic. Does the guard, I'm sorry, does Getry put his weapon away? He's thinking if he puts his weapon away, the guard will put his weapon away. So let's say +4 on this. Rolling. 17, he does. So that's 21. Getry puts his weapon away. Now, because we're in charge of the environment, it's our choice to see if the guard does do that. Does the guard only replicate the position of the intruder, or does he indeed replicate all the actions of the intruder? That is up to us. And for the narrative, I'm going to say, to make it interesting, the guard does de-equip the statue, puts his weapon away as the big sword. He puts his weapon to his side like a holster. And this is very intriguing to this is a really interesting trap, quote unquote trap to Getry. Now, Getry steps right in front of the guard. The guard steps up to Getry and stands in a very similar pose to Getry. The guard is right here. Now, Getry attempts to speak to the guard. Okay, well, we have to roll for this. I'm sorry, I overstepped my boundaries here. Does Getry speak to the guard? Let's roll for this. Let's say 2 on this one. 14, so I rolled a 16 total on that one. Getry attempts to communicate with the the magically endowed guard statue. He says, "Move out of the way." And it's up to us, really. Does the does the guard move out of the way? Well, let's think about this for a second. So we can roll for it. But we are treating the Oracle strictly for the PC, so this is very challenging. We have to kind of make the narrative as we go for the environment, the world around the PC character out of his control. So I'm going to say that the guard says the exact same thing. He says, but it's in a very distorted, kind of clunky voice. You barely make it audible. He says, "Move move out of the way," kind of like just an echo of a voice, like it's an enchanted spirit that embodies this this stone statue, this statue of a guard. So I think at this point, Getry recognizes that, well, we have to roll for what he recognizes. Does Getry decide to attack the stone statue? Let's say it's 0 on this one. I'm curious which way this will go. He does. I rolled a critical 20. So that means that Getry is going to pull his sword out at this. Well, clearly, he equips his sword. I'm sorry, not sword. We have the dagger, which is the best, his only choice for close combat. He pulls his dagger out. I've been saying sword this whole time. The guard pulls out his sword. He has a sword and the same pose. So, well, he's going to strike. So we're going to do a little combat here, and we'll put the D20 aside for now. I have an idea for that. I'm going to get my D20, um, D20 Frost for Getry, and then the red for the character for the statue. And now we're going to decide. We have a D6 for damage for Getry's little dagger. And then we'll do a D6 for the statue, just to make it a little challenging enough for the guard. So um, we'll say that the 6 represents his health. We'll decrease. I'm going to try to use a dice now for health markers on this one. So, and now let's grab a. Sorry, one second. I'm trying to find another D6 that's good for the. Here we go. This D6 will do for. This one's a little more textured, or to represent the attack die for the guard. Okay, just looking for that. All right, we're ready. And I say because Getry makes the first strike, we'll roll for him. So Getry will strike first with his roll. Remember, in Cairn, there is no missing. 2 damage. So the guard takes 2 damage. He's down to 4. The statue, I should say, takes 4 damage. Now the statue strikes. And our character, Getry has 2 AC, so -2 of whatever the hit is. I'm going to roll for the guard, for the statue. Ooh, 4. Okay, so, however, well, okay, so here's what we got to do. The math. The 4 is the damage die. We can do a saving throw because Getry knew what the guard was going to do, so perhaps he can step away. Let's roll to see if Getry decides to dodge. This is dexterity throw, which we have a pretty bad dexterity of 7. So we're going to roll, and oh, it's a 2. He does dodge the attack with a 2. So Getry dodges the attack. Now we're back to Getry attacking. So this was a failed attack at all completely. Take the damage die back of the guard. Now we're rolling damage for Getry. So rolling now. 2. So he's able to strike the guard. So we'll decrease his health to 2, or his hits, or protection, right there. And then now the guard will strike again. This time, let's see. Okay, rolling now. Oh my gosh, a solid 6. That's what the stone statue did for damage with his sword of D6. So we have to roll a saving once again because Getry knows that he's striking ahead of time. Let's roll a saving of dexterity throw. Gotta roll 7 or less. And we are extremely lucky. Rolled a 4 on that one. So once again, the guard strike is a complete. We were able to jump out of the way. Now we are rolling to hopefully finish off this guard. Getry strike 3. So Getry is successful in defeating this guy. He crumbles into just 1,000 pieces. He just disintegrates completely off the map. Well, just into a pile of dust. So he's gone. No need to really leave that figure there. So now, does Getry has free reigns. He can approach the giant pile of gold if he wishes. That is. Let me put the dice back. I have to have this organized to my. There we go. I kind of like using the silver die for Getry, so I'm gonna keep using that. Now, or you know what? The red die was easier for you guys to see. I'm gonna keep using that, so just so you guys can see it. Now, does Getry go towards the pile of gold? And I say it's a +6 on that one. He wants to he wants to get something out of all this. His brother's dead, so he wants to just steal a bunch of gold so he can at least come out of here knowing he's done something. So I'm gonna roll for it. Let's say a +6 on the modifier. Yeah, 14. So that's a total 20, not a critical 20, but a plus a total of 20. He does go towards the pile of gold. And while he gets the pile of gold, the pile of gold starts to shake. And when it shakes, oops, Getcha doesn't fall over, don't worry. The pile of gold starts to shake. And when that happens, the gold and the chest morph into the ground, like it literally passes through the ground and conjures a creature. So it was a trap. So I'm gonna put the gold set aside here, and I'm gonna get another enemy to use. This time, it's gonna be someone. I don't have skeletons per se. It's another want I need for my little figure collection I'm trying to build. But I'm going to say this is a stat. This is a skeleton appears. A very deadly armored heavy skeleton appears. So Getcher fell for an old trap here by walking up to it and triggering it based on the vicinity of the stance. So the skeleton stands there and draws his weapon. So once again, we're dealing with another enemy, and he has a high class of 6. Now, Getry sees this. Does Getry pull out his? Does he maintain his stance ready for attack? Let's roll. Let's say +6 on this one. 3. Wow. So that's a low mid maybe. Getry's hesitant. He steps back. He's a little worn out from all these fights. He does take a small step back, but still armor drawn or weapon drawn, the dagger. The skeleton is standing there, not moving, only remaining centered of the room. So that's evident. And then uh, we have to roll to see what Getry will do next. Does Getry uh, ultimately does he flee or does he attack? So depends on how we phrase this question. Does Getry decide to attack with his crossbow? Because remember, we're at a slight little range here. We have some space between us. I should say Getry and the skeleton. So let's roll. I'm going to say +4 on this one. 15, he does. So he's going to use his crossbow. 15, that's 4, that's 19. He's going to pull out his crossbow from a distance. And the crossbow is D8, so quite a better advantage on this one. I'm going to pull my D8 out. Okay, so Getry's going to attack. He's going to fire the crossbow straight at the skeleton's head. And let's roll. Wow, rolled a 7 on that one. Not bad. So one shot. Now, with that, the crossbow fires at the skeleton, and the skeleton crumbles and falls apart fairly easily. Take away the battle die. Fairly easily for some reason. And Getry's really surprised by this. We did technically roll higher than, the skeleton's hit die, but I'd say let's roll to see if Getry is surprised by this. +6. Is Getry surprised at how easy that was? 19. Yeah, so that's 25 with the 6. He is extremely surprised of how easy that was, but then again, there's nothing in this room now. There is no gold, there is no enemies, but he does see. We don't have to roll for this because it's clean in front of him. There's a doorway in front of Getry. So he's going to, is Getry going to cautiously walk across this room and go towards the door, the doorway across the room? Let's say +4. 8, 12. Okay, so that's a high maybe. He does, but he's going to take it easy because he knows this room seems to be enchanted with some magic. So he's going to walk across here. He's probably going to stay on the side a bit. He's halfway across the room based on the roll 12. Now, when he's there, I'm going to say that the skeleton once again pops up behind Getry. Well, kind of behind. Getry kind of has his right. He's in his peripheral vision. So the skeleton pops up from the ground again, draws his weapon of a d6. So the skeleton's back, and now Getry's a foot away, and the skeleton tries to swipe at Getry. I'm going to get the d6, another d6 for the skeleton. Okay, we're rolling for d6 for the skeleton strikes first. Okay, 3. He struck. So 3 damage. Take away the d8. Can Getry jump out of the way with his dexterity? So we gotta roll for this. 9. He does not. So he takes it's not a very strong attack, but it's definitely enough to cause some damage. So 3 damage is what he gets. Well, because it was a 9, I'm gonna say we do half of that if we want. But oh, no, I'm sorry. Take away 2 for AC. He takes 1 hit, so his strength is now down to 6. For any strength checks, we have to roll 6 or less, based on the rules at least. Um, okay, so he's down to 6. And yeah, it's getting a little tough for Getry. He's starting to get a little worn out. He isn't worn out, but now he's starting to hurt. And because of that, now Getry's obviously in battle mode. He pulls his dagger out, and he's going to strike the skeleton. Rinse and repeat, right? I mean, that seems to be the best option. So we'll roll for damage. 1. He only does 1 damage against the skeleton. Skeleton has 5. And now the skeleton is going to roll his attack. What's the skeleton? Let's see, d6. So we'll roll for d6. Ooh, yeah, this is not looking good. A roll of d6 for the skeleton. So that's how much damage. However, I had this planned out. Don't just think it was random. The door busts open. Someone busts through the door. Let me get my eraser here. Slams the door open from the other side, like this. Swings open. And a mysterious figure appears with a crossbow. And this is happening while the skeleton takes the hit from Getry and begins to strike with his weapon. This mystery man appears and fires a crossbow at the skeleton. So now we have this third person in the mix. We're going to roll for damage here. For the crossbow, 5, a surprise attack. 5 easily takes out the skeleton, and the skeleton crumbles like that. So he's gone, or it's gone. The skeleton is gone. Getry, uh, we don't even have to roll for this. Getry is stunned, and now there's a person. Does Getry +6 of modifier? Does Getry turn to this mystery person who entered the room in complete awe? So let's roll. I rolled a 16, so he indeed does. He quickly turns to the left, collapses in complete exhaustion. I'm kidding. He turns to the left and staring at this mystery person. The mystery person, the surprise character, puts away the crossbow and kind of fixes his outfit, like he fixes his armor. And he says, this mystery person says, "Oh, that was a close one. Almost took off your head." Now, Getry, does Getry put away, I'd say, his dagger? +6 on this one. 4, okay. That's actually a really good roll for this situation. 4 plus the 6, that's 10. He puts away, but really cautiously. Uh, does Getry talk to, I should say, does Getry ask who this person is? +6 on this one. He rolls, or they roll, let Getry roll. 17, of course it is. Getry asks this person, who are you? And this person answers, my name is Loomer, trying to find my way out of this hellscape. Hoping you can help me out. And there you have it. Getry has met the character from our last, well, 3 or 4 sessions ago. It depends. From the escape, I have brought back Loomer and combined this story with the escape. So now we have a rescue Getry with Loomer, the character that needed some closure. So this is where I'm going to leave off. I figured this would be a good little cliffhanger, but I'm going to write down for myself because this board essentially is my notes. We have Loomer now, if I remember that his name correctly. Loomer is back, and I'm sure he has some stories to tell if they do become, friends or allies in this whole manner. But Loomer clearly needs to get out of this place, and he's been probably stuck here for some time. So Getry discovered some unknown cavern with a trap where there is no gold, and now after defeating some repeat skeletons and a guard, Loomer busted the door in to save the day. So there you have it, guys. That is my latest episode, I think 3 of The Rescue, and how ironic how things turned out, I think. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on 830 RPG.